Good morning, Vande Matram. Welcome all of you. So we will discuss the topic on education and freedom. That is the topic of discussion for this morning. Education and freedom we will discuss right now. Most of the time we keep hearing on Sanskrit or some of Sanskrit term, Sanskrit sentence, So, sa vidya ja vimukta. Education, that is education really which really liberates. Means liberation is the purpose of education. Education liberates. Education sa vidya ja vimukta. So here we'll try to quote few lines from the mother. What really mother tries to explain, what really mother tries to say on education and the freedom. Then we'll try to conclude individually on education and the freedom from the master. So mother quotes, the great thing here is that the principle of education is a principle of freedom. In the very beginning, mother has clarified. Principle of education is a principle of freedom, and is to put it briefly, the whole life is organized on the maximum possible freedom in movement. Whole life, whole life, all life, that is two different things. So whole life means this life from the beginning to end, from the birth to death. All life means whatever we have crossed, the many lives we have crossed, this is the life, and many lives to be crossed later. So maximum possible freedom in a movement, that the rules, regulations, restrictions are reduced absolutely to the minimum. That is what the rule. These rules, regulations, restrictions must be absolutely reduced to the minimum. That is what the principle of education is, the principle of freedom. So if there is a restriction, if something is imposed upon you, then naturally your freedom is abhorred, your freedom is not functioning that way. If you compare this with the way in which parents usually educate their children, totally imposing time, what they feel, what they decide, what they opt, what they aim, that has to be, that is really imposed on the children. Freedom, they don't have the true freedom. They can move. That is the problem with the parents. With a constant, don't do this. That is what. Don't do this. Do this. That is good, but don't do this when it is coming. Means child will come and inquire why it is told that don't do this. That is what. Tell the truth. That is good. Truth. They will inquire of the truth. When we speak of the don't tell the not that don't lie. So his mind will be moving like anything to search what really the lie, where lies the falsehood. Anyway, mother quotes here tries to explain a constant. Don't do this. You can't do that. Do this. Go and do that. And orders, rules. There are considerable difference. Do this, do that, don't do this, go there, do that, you don't go, you don't act like this. These are the things really, 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 it is in the normal scenario, normal process of thinking and the normal process of living. So far this parents and the children are concerned, and all these contains only orders, rules, there is little freedom or no freedom at all. So as per the parents imposition, rules, and the forcibility, so things go on like this, and it is done, and there is no other go. Some other quotes: in schools and colleges, everywhere there are infinitely more strict rules than what we have here. Here means in the Sri Aurobindo International Center of Education in Pondicherry. So, mother quotes: in schools and colleges, wherever you go, there are stricter, principles, orders, and regulations are there. You can find everywhere. Mother quotes: infinitely more strict rules, infinitely more than strict rules than here, because in education, in integral education process, So far, this Pondicherry International, Sri Aurobindo International Center of Education is concerned, it is totally a liberal type. A lot of freedom is seen there. So, are not does not impose on you. Things are not imposed on you in absolute condition of making progress. You make it when it you please you when it pleases you. You make you make something when it pleases you. Don't when it does not. Something pleases you, you choose, you do. If it is not pleasing to you, it does not please you, you don't do. And you take things as easy as you can. There are some, I don't say this absolutely. There are some who try, but they try spontaneously. They try, but they try spontaneously. It is there. Nothing is imposed. Nothing is no rule, no strict principle. Nothing else. They try spontaneously. Of course, from the spiritual point of view, this is infinitely more valuable. Very interesting. Spontaneously, do they do. Mother course, from the spiritual point of view, it deserves a lot. Infinitely more valuable. The progress you will make because you feel within yourself the need to make it. It is a necessity. Nobody has told me to do so. I am not imposed. I am free. For that, actually, this is the true spiritual progress begins there. And you do because within yourself you feel it the need to make it because it is an impulsion that pushes you forward spontaneously. Impulsion in you that pushes you forward spontaneously. Nothing is imposed on not on you, and not back because that it is imposed on you like a rule, regulation, and all. So this progress from the spiritual point of view is definitely greater because something is imposed upon you and you are bound to do and you are doing, and the next step you have got the freedom, you think it must be done, you are doing. So spiritual point of view, the second is better. You feel from within that the need to do it, it must be done. That is what. So when you try to do things, well, I try to do spontaneously. Nothing to be spontaneously and sincerely. Try to do spontaneously and sincerely. It is something that comes from within you and not because that you have been promised rewards if you can do well, and the punishments if you do badly. So nothing like this, no imposition or no allurement for reward or no fear for punishment. Nothing is like this. So you do it spontaneously. Our system is not based on this, mother course. Our system is not based on this because you have got the liberation, you have got the liberty. You have to prosper progress of your own with your own spontaneity, own will. From within you will try and you will go get better. And later in the latter part of the discussion, mother course, it is possible that a certain moment something comes along to give you the impression that your effort has been appreciated. Sometimes you feel whatever the effort is taken and the spontaneous effort from within, some effort has been taken, it is appreciated, but the effort was not made in view of that. That is, these promises were not made beforehand, nor in advanced in equal balanced by equivalent punishments. Nothing is there. Nothing is there. You have done something spontaneously, no reward, no equivalent punishment, nothing is there beforehand. So you have done spontaneously and it is appreciated. But this is not the practice here. Usually things are such arranged in such a way that the satisfaction of having done well seems to be the best rewards. Satisfaction of doing best. Satisfaction of doing best, that is what. The satisfaction of doing the best of the that is a great thing. Rare thing you can find on the way. Usually things are arranged in such a way that the satisfaction of having done well seems to be the best rewards, and one punishment himself when he does badly. That is what. That is what you can find. So two way. Normally we go two ways. One is luring towards reward, or threatening for punishment, but something is there, spontaneously something would come. It will be appreciated, you will be rewarded, even if it is not planned, but you have done something that is a great thing. And punishment if you do something badly, that is what. So, in the in a sense, one feels miserable and unhappy and ill at ease. So, punishment one feels miserable and unhappy and at ease, and this is indeed the most concrete punishment he has. He has done spontaneously. He has failed. He has done badly because he could not fare as expected anyway. So no, nothing punishment is there, but because he has felt something like miserable, unhappy, and ill at it. So that is what the feeling. So this is what it is not the punishment, the concrete, most concrete punishment he has indeed, because he has the feeling of the feeling that he feels miserable, unhappy, and ill at ease. So so all these movements from the point of view of the inner spiritual growth, great thing Mother has quoted, inner spiritual growth, Mother quotes, have an infinitely greater value than when they are the result of the outer law. So infinitely inner, from the inner point of view, from the point of view of the inner spiritual growth, have the infinitely greater value when they are result of the outer rule. So outer rule, nothing, it is imposed. You have to do such and so. You have to go this and that, to do this and that. You have to go this way. You don't do this like this. Nothing is that. You are doing the things spontaneously, and spontaneously you are facing two things: one even, one odd, one positive, one negative. When you find everything it is going in a very good way, you feel pleasure, you feel happy like this. When things go otherwise, it is not a punishment, it is appreciation, is the reward. And the punishment, you feel unhappy, you have feel ill, something like this. So this is the concrete punishment, but thing is that here from the spiritual point of view, the not being imposed is the great thing and the great progress. Maybe this unseen punishment or unseen reward, that is that contains, that deserves a greater value than the outer view. So we'll try to quote few lines from Sri Aurobindo, and you will find education and freedom. First, we'll see a couple of lines on education, how Sri Aurobindo really goes. Mother Sri Aurobindo quotes: "All knowledge is within and has to be evoked by education. Nothing can be taught. All is within. We have seen." So all knowledge is within and has to be evoked by education. Has to be evoked by education. It is there within you rather than installed from outside. Already we have quoted, nothing we can see, we can find outside. Everything is within. It has to be evoked by education. That is the purpose. And again, Mother steer in the goes forward. A new center of thought implies a new center of education. A new center of thought. A center means a point. It is on the suppose on the floor, on the soil, on the surface. So it has to be elevated somewhere. A new center of thought implies a new center of education. So if your thought changes, thought gets elevated, thought gets transformed, then education, the value, and its center also will be changed, elevated. Information can't be the foundation of intelligence. In other words, intelligence, born from the ignorance. So information can't be the foundation of intelligence. Again, even a highest and completest education is of the mind is not enough without the education of the body. We have got our different types of education, like physical education, mental education, vital education, spiritual and supramental, psychic education. We have got like this. So Mother quotes: physical education deserves a greater value. It is the base without which index can't be erected, structure can't be erected. So this is the foundation. The highest and the completest education of the mind is not enough without the education of the body. Again, we can go little bit to find out what really this freedom really means. A mother here in the course, it is only if you belong it entirely to the divine that you can become free. Nobody can free you unless otherwise you decide, you choose, you become You decide to be entirely belong entirely to the divine. When you belong, if it is only if you belong entirely to the divine, you can become free. Again, freedom is the law of being in its illimitable unity. Freedom is the law of being in its illimitable unity, secret master of all the nature. Again, freedom is as necessary to life as law and regime. Law and regime you can find their necessity with which you can run the country, run the house, run the institute, run the instrument like this. Freedom is as necessary to life as a law and regime. Human society progresses really and vitally in proportion as the law becomes the child of freedom. Law must be the child of freedom. That is the most required condition. And again, here in the course, only with when the law becomes the child of education, freedom, thus proportionately the human society progresses. So freedom is the final law and the last conjugation. There is no other go, no other go. And all freedom must have a truth in it. All freedom must have a truth in it and an order, either of national, rational or instinctive or intuitive order. Order must be there. It is required. Again, Sri Aurobindo goes forward, freedom must be there, but actually it must not be mishandled or misused. Even it must not be, it must not misguide you. So, Sri Aurobindo again, finally, very brilliantly, Sri Aurobindo quotes, free action is the action of the divine. Only those I am free, my action is free, I have got the free action. So thing has to be clarified in a better manner. Free action is the action of the divine in us, and through in us and through us. Free action is the action of the divine in us and through us. No other action can be free. Only divine orientation, divine law, divine guidance. That is what counts greater. And the spontaneity must be there. Impulsion, not no impulsion. Things must come from inside. That is what. And with this education can liberate. That is the purpose of education. Sa vidya ja vimuktai. Vande mataram.